Hey everybody, this is Dave with D&E Performance coming to you from the office with another software video. Recently, not recently, it's been probably the last 8 to 6 months. I've been messing around with HP tuners, getting familiar with their software and how it works, and some of the stuff that you can do with the software. And in between this time, I bought a 2014 Chevy Cruze. Come to find out that the HP Tuners supports the Chevy Cruze as well as all the fourth, fifth, or third, fourth, and fifth gen um, Chevys. So recently came across somebody that was on the internet, and they had in the VCM scanner had ended up plotting this horsepower and torque charge versus time, and I thought this was pretty cool. I didn't really, I didn't really think this was, going to be one of those things where it wasn't going to be, super accurate or reliable or something that you can, you know, go off of as far as, uh, the whole reliability type standpoint when you do one of these. I know there's a whole math equation for this. Also, too, there's you can always take your air mass and then times that by 10 and your pounds per minute, and that'll usually give your estimated horsepower too. But I just thought this was kind of cool because you can actually, you can log this, and it's not going to be very accurate on the Gen 3s, but on the Gen 4. So what makes this, come to find out, what makes this pretty close, or almost not spot on, but it makes it, within 15, about 10 to 15 horsepower. Because that person that also had this on that tuning session was also had the vehicle on the dyno, and he was comparing this towards, what his dyno was showing, which was, that was pretty cool, I thought. And there was quite a few pulls there, and the majority of the pulls were it wasn't off by much. I mean, there was sometimes it was off by maybe 10. There was sometimes where it was off by 20. I think most of the time, as the car started getting closer and closer to making its peak power, as the tuner was dialing in uh, the tune on the vehicle, the horsepower and torque numbers from the dyno and HP tuners, they really started to line up. It started, and that's where it came in that, you know, within that 10 to 15 range. But anyways, so I ended up figuring out how to do this, and I thought I'd just show everybody. This is pretty cool. For especially for a software to offer something like this. And the reason they're able to do this too is because on the third gen, or not the I'm sorry, not the third gen, but the fourth gen Chevy models, the software from the factory is all torque based. Um, what I mean by that is like the majority of the tables are derived, or the math equations are derived off of uh, delivered engine torque, and commanded engine torque, and that that's how the Gen 4 modeling is. It's still, as far as the hybrid blend from MAF to VE is there, but um, it's more it's more a torque uh, driven algorithm, I guess you would say, uh, than what everybody's used to on Gen 3. So that's how this ends up being so pretty close, or within that threshold of these being good numbers. This is something you can actually plug into a car. Of course, this is a Chevy Cruze, and this thing isn't made to make 2, 3, 400 horsepower. It's a commuter car, and it's just something for me to practice on. Uh, how to use the software, and get familiar with making the histograms and stuff like that, and just getting the whole concept down as far as tuning a Gen 4 or Gen 3. Um, so another thing too that that we're not, I'm not. I tried to do a lot of research on this is the virtual VE tables, and creating a virtual VE table in the histogram. That was a little bit challenging. Another thing too, Spark tables are pretty straightforward. Same thing as a Gen 3. Your Spark retard tables, or histogram, and then of course your MAF tuning, uh, mass airflow for frequency. That's still all the same. But there were some other tables I was trying to mimic this power reduction table. I think it was somewhere in the Spark tab. This has something to do with power production. So if it goes above this torque, then it ends up taking timing out. That's another thing too, is just trying to figure out where where timing is coming out, and you know at what RPM, and then trying to figure all that out too. The charts versus time, still trying to pretty much figuring this out too, how all this stuff works, and you know, again, I've just been messing around with this, but I figured the basis of this video is just to shed light on this right here, because this is great. I mean, you can you could take knock retard and actually put it here, and then you can see what RPM, you know, and what at what gear you were in, or whatever the case may be, and then you could actually figure out your how much um, knock retard the computer is pulling up, and then try to figure out where that knock retard is coming from. Another thing too is being able to use this table, and then going into your virtual VE table, and then you can kind of see where you are on the table, um, and where you need to clean up. I have a lot of cleaning up to do on this table. I haven't quite got this far on how to tune the virtual VE tables yet. I've only been messing with the MAF airflow frequency table, and I recently went in there and made a couple of different changes to the tune on the Chevy Cruze. The reason I also ended up getting you know messing around with the Chevy Cruze is because I want to put flex fuel sensor on it. So I'm trying to straighten out some of the gas tune stuff first before we actually go in there and dump a tank of E in there, uh, and then just trying to figure out some other stuff as well. The virtual, I'm starting to get familiar with the virtual torque tables too. Um, these these all derive from let's see, these tables over here, your virtual torque tables. So these tables right here are used quite a bit in the Gen 4. It's depending on what mods on the Chevy Cruze, I really don't need to go in here and touch any of these tables. I mean, I might be able to go in here and clean this up a little bit, but I probably won't try to do any crazy. I mean, the car doesn't have any crazy modifications done to it, so I really don't need to go in here and mess with this stuff. But I am trying to look forward to, kind of looking forward to trying and work with these tables and see how this stuff functions. But anyways, I thought I would just bring, pretty much shed light on this. If you do use it on a third gen, just note that the third gen, you could be anywhere from about 80 to 90 horsepower off. You're better off on the third gen if you want to get a horsepower reading, is taking it from your your mass airflow. Is it mass airflow? No, it's the cylinder air mass, I think. The cylinder air mass? Can't remember the cylinder air mass or not. Just shed light on it. It is. Gosh, I can't even remember now. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. It is the mass airflow. So your mass airflow and pound per minute, you can always get, on your third gen, you can always just take this and times it by 10, and that will give you a horsepower reading. Any tuner, any good tuner will probably tell you the same thing. And then again, this is Dave with D&E Performance, coming to you from the office. I thought I would just share this with everybody, just because I thought this was pretty cool. I mean, this might be old to somebody, but I don't know. Maybe this might help somebody else out. Especially if you have a Camaro or Corvette and you did some mods on it, you want to kind of see like what it makes for power. You can actually just plug this in and go up the street and do a third or fourth gear pull, and then you'll be able to you kind of be able to get a ballpark. It's not going to be like dead accurate or whatever, like a dyno, but it's going to be relatively close on a Gen 4 Chevy. Anyways, stop rambling here. And again, this is Dave with D&E Performance. Thanks for stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will catch you on the flip. All right.